Hey everyone, today we have the pleasure of having Greg Rodriguez on the call. Greg, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, man. I'm on the phone with you or on the Zoom with you. It's great.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Greg, I mean, you've done so much in the space. I mean, in the business space, in the real estate space. I don't even know where to start, but why don't we start from the beginning? So tell me about how you got into this accounting and tax world and just let's fast forward to today and what you do and how you help people. We'll go from there.
Yeah, I think I've always had a love for money, and I've always been a very meticulous. Very meticulous with my things. Even back as a kid, when I had I collected baseball cards. I just knew how to categorize everything by name, by color. So I think I always had a knack for that. And as I became, obviously an adult and went to school. I liked it, right? As I went into the courses, I just liked that structure that was, and we're talking about, 30 years ago, right? You didn't have a lot of technology like you have today. So there's a lot of, thinking. You had to really understand how to do things. So I just really gravitated to that, mental process, if you will.
So talk to me about starting your first CPA firm and then selling it. And I know you sold a bunch of them and kind of like what you do today. So tell me
Yeah.
about like that story, how like you going into the CPA world, you built your firm, then you sold it. Let's go through that story because I think it's very powerful bit for business owners to understand kind of what you've done. You're not just like a random CPA off the street that just has been doing this all day. You're also good in building these.
Yeah, so it started about, I want to say, 25 years ago, Armand. I worked for, I used to work for very large CPA firm in the entertainment industry, and then I got out of that and I worked for a small, but small local firm. There was about 5 or 6 partners, and the firm was in Whittier. And I've always loved real estate, right? I got my real estate license back when I think I was 18. I just love the product, right, of what it can do. And so after working with this CPA for about 2 or 3 years, I told them that I wanted them to expand. I'm like 2, 3 years working at this firm. They have like 40 people, at the firm, 5, 6 partners. And I go to the senior partner that I had a really good relationship with. We really liked each other. And his name was Mike. And I said, Mike, listen, I want to grow this firm in the real estate industry. I want to go out there and I want to talk to developers. I want to talk to realtors. I want to talk to investors and bring them in as clients. And I was really taken back by his response. He said, "Listen, your time is too valuable for what you do as a CPA. I'm not going to put. You're not going to become a marketer." He goes, "I don't want you to put the marketing hat on and do that." So it was shut down. And so I went in with plan B, right? So I said, listen, let me turn this off. I said, well, I know the value. I told Mike, I said, I know the value that I can bring to this firm and I can create whatever compensation I want, right, for myself and create other opportunities. And I told him I had a piece of paper ready, right? And I said, this is my new compensation that I want, right? Whether you allow me to build this other wing or not, this is what I feel I'm worth. I'm worth way more than just a CPA. I'm a business builder. Anyway, so we had lunch, right, with the second partner, 2 partners and myself. They took me out to there was a Hilton hotel at the time. I think it's still there in Whittier. And we had a nice lunch and we talked it through. And they said, listen, no, that's not what we are. We buy through acquisitions and things like that. I said, that's great. So that very same afternoon after lunch, I went to my office and I typed up a resignation letter. I had no plans. I didn't have another job lined up. I had nothing. I believed it so much in my heart that was the only alternative for me. I was committed to something bigger, which I really didn't know what it was. I walked into the senior partner and I said, Mike, this is for you. And, what is this? It's my resignation letter. I can stay as long as you want, or if this doesn't work for you, I can leave. I think I stayed for about a week. That's what we agreed. They thought I wasn't going to leave. The executive secretary came to me and told me, you crushed Mike's heart. He likes you so much. And I said, I understand, but we're talking business, and I feel the same for him. A retired partner from Rancho Mirage called me and says, Greg, you're going to be one of the next partners. You have to give it time. And I said, well, my time is now, so
I
anyways,
love that. I
I
love
didn't
that
change.
so much. I love that so much. Such a like, hey, I don't give a fuck what you think. This is my life and my timing, and I'm not gonna fucking. You're gonna create your own future. What an amazing story! Wow,
Yeah,
keep
that
going.
was it. And it wasn't that I demanded partnership. I wanted to create more opportunity and more value. And so I want to say that, like I said, I stayed like a week there, but a day or two prior to me finally leaving, both of those partners, they wanted to have lunch with me again. And I felt so bad when they wanted to have lunch with me again, because I already knew what was going to happen. And here's what happened, Armin. We had lunch and they said, you know what? We talked about it a little bit more, and we're going to let you develop that real estate wing for the firm. Armin, what I told them was, I said, it's too late. And they said, what are you talking about? We just talked like 2 or 3 days ago, Greg. And I said, guys, you don't understand. In my mind, I close my eyes as I'm closing them right now. And I was telling this, I said, as I close my eyes, I already see the partitions in my office. I see cubicles, I see chairs, and I get the chills as I talk about it right now, because I can see it. I can see myself talking to them back 25 years ago. I said, I already built my office in my mind. And that was the story. That was the story of me, going out. And I said, okay, I committed to this, and I went out and I built my firm. I worked like crazy. I was young. I had a mortgage, and I had a big problem behind me.
Oh man, I think we lost you, or was it me?
12, 14, 16 hours a day, nonstop. I was the janitor. I was the accountant. I was the billing person. I did everything. And I did that for a very long time. I built a great firm in about 5, 6 years time. It was a really, really good firm. It got really big, and I sold it. I sold the firm, and it was great. Sold it, bought a big home. And then I said, okay, what's next? And I said, I wonder if I got lucky. I wonder if I built this great firm because the economy, the stars were aligned. Everything was perfect for me, right? And I said, let me try and do it again. And I did it again. I built a smaller firm, sold it. Built a third firm, sold it. And this is the firm that I have now is the biggest firm that I have. We generate over 7 figures in revenue. I've had it for the longest time. And I don't see myself, I've never seen myself, though, as much as I like what I do, I've never seen myself as a CPA. I've always seen myself as an entrepreneur, a business owner, developing business. I get that from my parents. My parents came from Cuba, and they've always been very entrepreneurial, from selling gold to selling, porcelain, ceramic figures. I remember they got an ice cream truck. I had to work the ice cream truck. They had a restaurant. So I got that. We have that in us, and I picked it up, and I love that. I just love the business building, because you can do so much. You can create any life you want. Doesn't matter what your background is, what your experience was, what the struggles were. When somebody goes out, right, and it's not for everybody, but when somebody goes out and says, hey, I do have the golden ticket, the Willy Wonka golden ticket, we all have it if we want to use it. And I did. And it's been a great life for me.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. And so, how do you help people now? Now that you've done all the building, like what is your mission and vision for the next, 10, 20, 30 years of your business career? How are you going to help people?
Yeah, listen, we run a different kind of firm. We've never been a transactional firm in terms of here's what we give you, give me money. We've always been a relationship-based firm. I know that today that's very popular, and that's why we have a group of about 72 clients. That's who we serve year in, year out. We do everything for them. But how we serve them at our firm is we take time to listen to them. So Armand, listen, whether it's you building your business, me building mine, or other people building their business, we're not necessarily building it to say that we have, a $10 million business or a $100 million business. We're doing it to create a lifestyle, a life, a vision, a dream. And so how I help my clients is, it's kind of like what you're doing here, this interview. It's so important for me to meet the client, right? And talk to them, what is it about the journey? Why did you start this business? Why is it this business? What are you trying to get from it? Right? And it can't be just money. Money is just paper. And money is all around us. There's no shortage of that, right? So I connect with my clients at a deep level to remind them, because that gives me permission when they get lazy, when they struggle, when things don't go well. I remind them, right? I go back to that conversation we had, and it's very powerful, because in today's world, technology has commoditized a lot of things, right? A tax return is not very valuable. It's a piece of paper, data entry. QuickBooks, accounting, same thing, right? The power is in understanding the numbers. That's what I enjoy, is talking to the clients, understanding their numbers, where their opportunities are, how they can just be more efficient, how they can love their business more without even selling anything more, right? By going through the numbers and teaching them how to make those adjustments, right? And that's what we do, right? We're a consulting firm that continuously reminds our clients, our family members, right? Yeah, we see them as family, of what their goals are and what they're trying to accomplish, whether for themselves, if they're single, whether they have a spouse or kids. And that's how we do it. Listen, good or bad, I don't know. I've gotten drunk with my clients. I've spent the night at clients' houses. They've spent the nights at my houses. We've partied. I have really good relationships with my clients, and it's an amazing thing. It really is an amazing thing when you build a business that is, it's just really honestly, not relationship as in just a word relationship, but really from the heart. It's really great. I love it when I'm at the office and I see a client come in and they're hugging my staff, giving them kisses on the cheek. It's like, we're in. It's amazing. And that's really what I love to do in terms of connecting with people and helping them.
That's amazing. I think that's, you know, I'm so excited about this conversation because that is what we are attempting on our end, but you are doing it already. There's dime a dozen marketing agencies, there's dime a dozen CPA firms. And one thing that we've learned in this book, Unreasonable Hospitality, is it doesn't matter. Nothing else matters is how you make people feel. How do you make them feel, right? Nothing else matters. How do you make them feel? That's what you're talking about. So, uh, just for like personal sake, I would love to know, could you go a bit more in depth in the fact of, like, let's just say I just became a client of yours. What kind of questions are you asking me to just learn more about me on a deeper level, find out my passions and all these things? I'd love to know. Maybe we can implement it in our company.
Yeah, listen, what we do, the very first thing is that in that interview is, what are you doing, right? Where do you find yourself today? And before we get into heavy conversations, I want to learn from the past, right? What is that journey that I don't know about? Because the client is coming to me today because they have an issue, they have a problem, they have a goal they want to reach, but I want to understand, where did they come from, right? So I can meet them where they're at. And it just becomes it really becomes a simple Q&A of about, who are they really, right? It's kind of like when people say, what do you do? Well, I'm a CPA. Well, that's nothing, right? What do you do? I'm a doctor. Well, that's nothing too. What do you do? I'm a, marketing. That's nothing too, right? It's at a deeper level, that we connect with the questions to really find out who they are. What is the purpose of this of this business, right? You're building a widget. What's the purpose of the widget, right? And the widget itself could be that they're trying to make life easier for people, technology, a product or service. But at the end of the day, right, we always wrap up the call and we talk about life. 80% of the 20% of the conversation is, who are you? What'd you do? What's your product? How long have you had the product? How much are you making? What are you trying to make? That's 20%. 80% of our meeting is all about, what is this going to do to your life, right? And that's why the past is so important, because a lot of times the past sounds something like mine, which is, we grew up poor, right? We didn't have a lot of opportunity. We didn't have a lot of money. We had to work hard. We had to sacrifice. We had to save. We had to bypass. So that's why I love meeting new clients, because 80% of it is building tremendous rapport at a very personal level. But the 20%, listen, those questions, to be honest with you, they're cookie cutters, right? It's like I said, what do you do? How are you doing it? What does it cost you? What do you think you can improve? Those type of things,
Let's go into the 80% then. So how do you dig deeper in with them on the 80%, which it is what really matters?
Yeah, listen, I always get permission. I say, listen, can we expand this conversation to really truly understand, the go beyond the goals of your business? I'm assuming that, the goals that you have in terms of metrics for your business is for you to satisfy some kind of personal goal, life or dream that you have. And of course, I think, 99, 100% of the time, the answer is yes, right? And I just get into it. Like, what is that life that you're trying to live, right? And what's the reason that you're trying to live that life? And then, of course, that just starts to open up, right? If the tonality is right, if the posture is right, then people open up and they'll share. I mean, this might sound a little bit weird, but if you were to call my office randomly right now on this Zoom call that you and I are having, and say, how do clients act with Greg? They'll tell you they cry, they get emotional, because we unpack it. We unpack the onion. I want to help you. I want to help you, and I want to understand, what you have inside, because sometimes if we don't unpack it, we get stuck, Armand. So, we really just, I'm committed to them. I'm not asking questions to see how interesting they are or interesting background. I'm asking questions to really commit to being part of their journey, wherever they're at in life today, and how I can augment that. But listen, we talk about their kids, right? Hey, listen, I want my kids to have a better life, right? What does that mean? Well, I didn't have all the things I wanted to. I want my kids to have all the things, right?
Nice.
I want to learn the world. We didn't travel with my family. I want to give my kids an opportunity. So we just talk about all these things, and it becomes so easy then to get people to commit to. They're committed to their business already, but it's easy for them to commit to me now, to say, listen, I'm going to partner with you in this journey. I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to push you to give me the things that I need, so that we can create the tools and the resources, so that I can then sit with you and show you and help you realize what you're doing, what you can do, what the opportunities are. That's what it creates.
I love that. So powerful. Definitely we need to implement it on our end. Greg, as we wrap up, this was an amazing conversation. So many lessons, even for ourselves, and I'm sure for others. What final words of advice do you have for everyone listening?
Hey, listen, we could always, there's always an opportunity to learn. There's always an opportunity for us to look. We were talking about, relationships and things like that. And sometimes we get busy. We get busy helping other people. And sometimes we have to look inside of ourselves and look at and check our own relationship to make sure that we are okay. Because we can only help people when we are okay. we can only get money from people when we've helped people, right? So always, always remind yourself that there's something better. When you're stuck, start here, and ask yourself what's going on, what am I struggling with? Open up to yourself, and there's a big world of people that need us. When we come from a good space, from a good heart, there's a ton of people out there that are counting on us to be that person to walk with them in their journey and partner with them.
So powerful. My God, I'm so excited. Maybe we need to do a round two one of these days, Greg. But I'm
Thanks, Armin. Thanks.
very
I
grateful
appreciate
for
you. I
you.
really appreciate you.
Again, I'm gonna dig into this. We need to implement it as a company. We're scratching the surface to what you are already doing. So anyway, we're gonna do that. I'm grateful for your time. For those of you listening, just feel free to reach out to Greg, and we'll catch you on another episode. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Armin.